After my many years parted from earth, I, William Shakespeare, have come to speak the truth about what times were like in my area of profession when I was a living, breathing lad. Times in the theatrical business were much different back then. Although I am William Shakespeare himself, I have actually forgotten a lot about what my life was like, so I read up on the history of theatre. According to A History of Elizabethan Theatre by Adam Woog, by Shakespeare's time, acting had become a viable profession, at which a man could make a modest living. It was now also an entertainment enjoyed by the majority of the public. Some actors specialized in playing for the upper class. These people were generally well educated and knowledgeable about theatre in other countries. Others played for the general public and charged admissions or passing the hat to cover expenses wherever they could. When I read this passage, I thought about women and their position. So I read from a book called Life in the Elizabethan Theatre by Diane Yancey, and I found that women were not permitted to act nor watch plays in Shakespeare's time because they were considered the gentler sex that shouldn't be subjected to the hardships in the plays. Yet women often snuck into theatre. In fact, Queen Elizabeth also loved plays. After reading this, I thought to myself, well, who plays the female characters? In the same book, I found that, since women were not allowed to act in Shakespeare's time, often young boys would play the female characters, as they hadn't gone through puberty, so they have more female-like characteristics than grown men, such as a higher voice. I decided to go back to the first book I read to see if there was anything I should know, and I read that all the theatres in London closed in January 1593 because authorities were mistrustful of actors and the rowdy audiences that followed them, regarded drama as immoral and a waste of time, were concerned about fire in an all-wooden-built city, but authorities were mainly concerned about play. Because theatres were closed in London, theatres were built outside London in order to continue the business, starting with Burbag's The Theatre, which was quickly imitated by many others. So, any questions? Ha 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 ha.